With each passing day, more converge upon Earth. Pilgrims of fate. Some already arrived. Others still walking paths they do not yet understand. This gathering intrigues me. They exist in the space between heaven and hell. Their choices now will carve the shape of their eternity. But do they truly know what they are? What forces stir beneath their feet while they play their part on the board? Pawns, perhaps. Or something far more significant. Death lingers near. Yet the dead do not rest. Their whispers grow louder. Their stories claw to the surface. Deeds once buried in shadow now stray for the light. These saints, these sinners, they are unlike any I've seen. Complex, flawed, powerful. Some barely cling to their soul. Others shine so brightly, I dare not look away. They have been chosen for what lies ahead, and nothing in this world or the next will ever be the same. I must watch them, for within this fractured group lies the thread to a mystery far greater than they can fathom. And soon, it will unravel.
The city's full of secrets, hiding in plain sight. That is, if you know where to look. Lucky for me, I've got an eye for finding the truth. I have sources all over Floor Spark, keeping a lookout for me, so I don't miss a beat. I protect my people. I keep their identities confidential and safe. I don't like bullies. I don't like those who would prey on the weak. Especially those in power. I like to expose the ugly truths and to see beautiful lies. There are those who would disagree with my methods, but rarely my results. Whatever the truth is, I will find it. All it takes is one glance and it's already too late. I've seen it all. My name's Winslow Valiant. And I'll make you front page news. No matter the cost.
Lots of stuff happening, huh?
Lots of stuff happening. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Rip and the Silverback episode 73.
Yeah.
Holy.
Climbing up there, man.
How's your day been so far, Eric?
Bro, fucking busy. So, Brandon's running around having fun with Chuck Dixon and what have you. Shout out to those guys. There was CGC doing a bunch of signings. So I kind of had to step in and do some of what usually he's tasked with. And I've been ripping and running quite literally all morning. A lot of this stuff, it's less to do with him and more like, you know, we've been moving. We have multiple warehouses that creates challenges. So we're moving equipment around and stuff. So it's been quite the eventful morning, but I got my workout in, so I can't complain. I'm ready to go.
Good lad, good lad. Yeah, I've been doing a bit of work with the Oscars this morning. Doing a bit of work with the editing on the book, my book. You know, making sure that we're all happy with everything set up. And I gotta say, it's been such a great process. It's been such a fun experience. Learned a hell of a lot from the Oscars, particularly when you've got such a small window to work with. 15 pages.
That's it.
So you know, I was taught arrive late, leave early. When
Makes
it
sense.
comes to,
that's how it is.
It's been really great going through that. But let's just have a look, because it's only been just over 2 weeks since the launch of Saints and Sinners, and holy cow, 6,374 books so far, 222,868 in sales. We've still got 51 days to go.
Oh, we got plenty of time.
Woo! So if you guys,
I did
gals,
good news. As more of breaking news, I got the the hardcover. I did get the inks approved for those. So now it's off to coloring, or about to be. As soon as I get actually out of this, I will send that off to be colored. We got that approved, so everything's good there. And we'll have that go live in the store. Really looking forward to that. But yeah, man, having some fun with this project. Lots of time still left. Like you said, 51 days. And yeah, man, we've been putting out some little videos and stuff. And Oasis video came out before Mahler's first. We had drinkers come out today talking about their individual projects as well. So yeah, man, I appreciate everybody's support. Much love to everybody that's showing love on really all the projects you show. Ripazine, we launched that yesterday as well. Ripazine number 4. Remember, if you are a member at the website, you can just redeem that. You don't have to pay any additional money for it. It comes with your membership, so be sure to redeem that as well. And so, yeah, we got all that going. Obviously, last week of Horseman 2 as well. Horseman number 1.
Yaira ends in just over a week. Yaira
just over a week. I think 12 days left in for Yaira number 1 as well. So yeah, man, we got some announcement. We announced, an hour and some change ago. Death Shroud is coming to Ripazine as well. So we did announce that. Really excited about that. More news to come as well. We're gonna have some more announcements. So yeah,
Golden Patriot still up from Yellow Flash.
Golden Patriot, still out for Yellow Flash as well. You can go grab that. So yeah, we got all sorts of crazy stuff going on the Rippaverse and the Ripazine side. Fan Expo is starting in a couple of days here as well. So yeah, this is an eventful week, man. Very busy, and been having a lot of fun though, man. I like this. This is, I think I work my best in like sort of chaotic conditions. So
it's a hell of a situation to be in.
Yeah.
I'd rather be in this situation than not in this situation.
That's the perspective. I always try to put that in, even if I'm up all night, I always try to keep that into perspective. I mean, I'm having fun in general, but that's certainly a position, a way to look at it, because like you're blessed, man. You got a lot of stuff going. So this is why you're kind of in the position. So just get to work, shut up and get to work. So that's how I approach it.
Yesterday, the Rippazine 4 came out for pre-order, and folks, if you've picked up a copy of Saints and Sinners, you want to be picking up a copy of the Rippazine number 4, because there is a lot of interviews in there with the writers of Saints and Sinners, myself, Will, Critical Drinker, Callum, aka Mauler, Drunk 3PO, aka
he's in the chat.
Someone. Oh, by the way, props on the Rippers, the advert for Saints and Sinners on X.
Yeah.
It was great. It says writing by Heel versus Babyface. Thank you. Critical Drinker, Mauler, Eric July, Soska Sisters, and it ends there.
What? Are you for real? Is Jay's not on the ad?
No,
is he not? I'm gonna look.
No. Working as intended. Get him out of here.
There's no way
Get
that's
him
true.
out of here.
I'll look at
Get him
ad.
out. Out.
No, shout out Jay though. We also got some other stuff working with Jay on. But yeah, go get Ripazine. It has interviews from everybody here. Part of Saints and Sinners, the entire team. It also has previews of Horsemen, number 1, as well as Yaira number 3, which are books that are not yet out as far as fulfillment is concerned.
And Catch and Kill by the Soskas.
Yes, obviously you got the new short story, Sebastian Garcia, Catch and Kill. Nice. We don't really have. I mean, obviously we have investigators, but we don't have like journalists. Which believe it or not, but believe it or not, that used to be like a sought after position. Right?
Once upon a time,
right?
There was a lot of respect that went along with journalism.
Yeah, being a reporter and being a journalist.
Holy shit, how times have changed.
That's true.
I'd rather drink my own piss with Bear Grylls.
And that is very true. But we're trying to, or the Soskas are. There is still some that definitely those independent guys that are out there doing their thing from the reporting, trying to keep everybody up to date with the news. Used to be a commendable and respectable field, and we're trying to, I guess, bring that back, that feeling back. So
integrity great again.
Yes, for sure. So you're gonna learn about Winslow. You're gonna learn about Betty, Catch and Kill, cool little story. First time working with Sebastian Garcia as well. So that was fun. So yeah, go check that out, man. I can't wait for y'all to read it.
Yeah, pencil's looking great. So yeah, pick up the Ripazine 4, not just for the good stuff that you get, the extra story and all that, but it's a wonderful companion piece for Saints and Sinners. So if you're looking to maybe get all of the Saints and Sinners stuff that's going on, Ripazine 4 is an absolute must with the interviews that we do there, and we kind of we get some good questions to. It's a big.
Yeah, it's a cool story because it really does help. I mean, if you've read the Ripazines before, this isn't the first reference to Catch and Kill for those that have been, paying attention to backgrounds and stuff like that. You already learned about this stuff. But I do love the story in that, you're getting a different perspective, right? It helps really fill out Flora's part because you can imagine as all this shit going on, you got Alpha, ISOM, all this other stuff. Like, what role does a journalist or a reporter kind of play in it, or what? More importantly, what perspective do they have? And that's what you kind of get with the Ripazine, where you have someone that's kind of navigating this kind of crazy town. Again, how does that lolook for them? And you're gonna so it helps build the world, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So
yeah. It was like today. I'm being contacted by the Soskas as regards to the editing, and so they, I've been asked some questions. Why is this do this? Why is this do that? So they can understand the context of what's going on. And some of them, of course, were like, why does this person say this? And I'm like, well, because it's not revealed yet, but this, this is actually leading to this in potentially. So they're like, oh, gotcha. Right. Yeah.
And that's what it's about, right? Comics, I feel like that's what comics used to be about. Like, that's that. You're really rewarding those, and that's what we try to do here at the Rippaverse. We're rewarding those those guys that buy into, maybe not every book, but if you do every book, or most of our books, right? It's rewarding because you're going to pick up on a lot of different things pertaining to our world by just, again, being aware. So you read something like the Rippazine, and you pick up on those tidbits, the background stuff, and it does help the experience. It betters the experience because you're getting that perspective, but also for you guys that really pride yourselves and just really being knowledgeable on the Rippaverse and everything that's going on. We're not wasting panels here. Like, what we try to do, and the ads did a great job of that as well, and some of the language and the communication and things that are happening in that story. It's not just for art's sake, right? It's like, okay, well, even if this doesn't, I can't wait for people to read ISOM 3, by the way. That started shipping today. So I can't wait for people to read that. But what happens is you pick up on certain things and you're like, oh, okay, so that's why this character said that in the other issue, or that's why they went this route in the other issue. Those types of rewarding things are happening in really all of our books. Definitely for writers that are paying attention. Like you got a guy like Az who's invested in the Rippaverse as well. You know, that's stuff that he can put into his story, but also that's a lot that you guys as readers can get from it as well by just, again, keeping up with all the stories that we're telling and being fans of the Rippaverse. You'll come back to or a thing will happen in a future book and you're like, wait a minute, well that kind of aligns with what happened in issue 3 of that book, or Saints and Sinners in that short story. So those payoffs are always happening. So we appreciate everybody that continues to keep up with stuff. Someone asked in the chat, are these stories canon? Yes. Everything we put out for the Rippaverse. Ripazine is a different animal. But Rippaverse related stuff, everything that we put out as far as a story is concerned is canon to the Rippaverse. So all these guys that you saw, which is great, that are part of Saints and Sinners, they had their own homework to do as well. Az was a little ahead of the game. You know, he's a buyer of all the books, so he's knowledgeable. But obviously, you know, now that he's official writer, you're bringing him in on some things that we also have not announced as well. So yes, there's homework to be done on everybody's side. So yeah, it is canon. And all these guys are coming from the perspective, that may be the first time that you're seeing Az write a story or view a story, but he did still come from that perspective of someone that cares about this shit, you know? So yeah, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. And you can see the Ingrid's in it. He knows Ingrid very, very well. And I can't wait for you to tell more stories about Ingrid as well, man. I'm really looking forward to that.
I mean, hey, you know, the audience is going to be the determining factor about that.
Very true.
But it was cool because, you know, you want to do something in a story and you're suddenly like, can they do that?
Right.
You know, can it? I got to ask. So you know, there's a lot of ask. Hey, could this character do this? Is this character able to do that? How does this character fit in with it? So, you know, there is stuff which has yet to be revealed as regards to certain characters anyway.
True.
And it's kind of nice to tug on some of that. And then maybe, you know, if things go according to plan, you can give it a good old pull and things will start to unravel as regards to what's going on. But yeah, it's very much trying to tell a story which people are going to enjoy. At the same time, you're putting in a couple of things because there are some very, very astute Rippaverse people out there who really do look at things. But there's definitely a couple of things in the stories that are just like, this is a setup for a payoff later on. So yeah.
There's a lot of that, and I love that. Now, obviously, I nerd out about that stuff, and just a general fan of comics myself. But I you know, we keep tabs ear to the streets. Everybody in the company, especially those that, you know, that's their kind of jobs. They're really interactive with the customer and the feedback and everything. And we see that. I love seeing those conversations and videos, and everybody's nerding out about and geeking out about whatever's going on. So some of you guys have been paying a lot of attention, especially once you saw what's going on with Ripazine 4 here in Winslow. You're like, wait a minute, that looks familiar. Didn't he have an ad or something like that? Yeah, exactly. That's why you need to pay attention. And also, when you actually read the story, there's a little bit of that as well. You're going to get a lot of, wait a minute, okay, I remember that happening in this book, and they're talking about it or referencing it. And this type of character, like using a reporter, is like the perfect way to do that, to really kind of bring things home. Because again, sure, we're telling or showing you kind of that perspective of the hero, right? And now you're looking at it from the perspective of, maybe you think they're heroes in their own right, but you're looking at it from the perspective of this reporter, and yeah, they're going to see events way differently, right, than those that maybe have experiences. So yeah, I can't wait for people to read the story though. Ripazine 4 is really, really good. Again, you get those interviews from the Saints and Sinners team, as well as some of those previews of some of these up and coming books. So yeah, go check that out.
Yeah, because I'm also a customer. I bought mine. I got mine yesterday. Got my one at all. Very excited. Yeah. It's really, it is cool though, because there was a part of the book that I was putting somebody into a situation, and I was just like, "Can this person do this?"
Yeah.
And then so I'm like, Oscars, can this person do this? And I'm like, yeah, this person could do that. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna do it then. So yeah. I love stuff like that. And I want to give like humongous props on a personal level to Diogenes Neves, who drew my book, because his layouts are absolutely incredible. The way that he took my storyboards and converted it into the layouts that he produced, how dynamic they are, how well they work together, and it's so crazy to see your work passed on to somebody else, how that person interprets that work, how you work together, obviously, so that everyone's happy with everything, and it's just like, so Diogenes, sir. Absolute legend. Thank you for breathing so much life and dynamicism into it. And having seen, some of Mauler's stuff as well, haven't seen Jay's, haven't seen Drinkers, or yours, or the Soskers, but I've seen some Maulery stuff, and holy cow, what's happened. This book is just...
Oh yeah, it's good. I can't wait for y'all to get this. And like I said, we're rocking and rolling. We have the hardcover is being worked on. So let's finish off the colors.
Wait, what? Don't read too much into what was written there, everyone. don't read too much in how things were expressed in that. Wow. It's been so much fun to do, and like I said, and to see it now out, and the Ripazine 4 with the interviews and bringing others, just more and more lore into the universe. It's like,
let's go.
Soon, chat. Soon it will be in your hands. And your feedback is gonna be so good.
Determining a lot. So you guys be sure to be vocal, do your videos, be interactive, and let everybody know how you feel, because we want to keep these guys busy. We love to. So let us know how you feel about those stories. Really excited.
Oh, Ryan, I am happy. It was a bucket list thing. That's not an exaggeration. It was absolutely a bucket list thing. Something I never thought would happen. I don't want to step over the interviews, because we kind of go into things with the interviews. So I don't want to step over the interviews from the Ripazine 4. So go check that out. But questions like that, Ryan, are expanded upon as regards to the process and what it means to you and things like that. So the Ripazine 4 it's got some really good content for you to get your teeth stuck into, and stupidly low price. So why not go grab? Right, now we got the good stuff out of the way. Let's start before we go into like the Harry Potter.
Well, wait a minute. Some news just broke like literally 12 minutes ago.
Okay.
I'm putting this in a private chat and in StreamYard.
Right. Let's have a look. See. Holy shit!
Yep, 12 minutes ago.
Well, it was interesting you should put that there, because I was actually going to bring up Doom the Dark Ages to start with, some video game talk. So actually, let's just get straight into this. We'll come to this second, because Doom, we're not going to spend much time on Doom. But Doom the Dark Ages, have you played it?
No, I've been teeter-totter because I want to play it. I do I want to give my perspective on, because it's been a lot of, it seems mixed. Because I've seen people say I don't like it.
Ooh.
I've seen people be like, I'm okay with it. I've seen more people be more like, it's not bad, right? I'll say that much. So I would love to. I understand that this is kind of from a gameplay perspective, especially like with the shield and everything. It's a different game. from maybe what people were anticipating and certainly what they played with Eternal. That said, um, it's been interesting to see diehards have their little opinions on it, but we'll see. We'll see. I see you got Cabrutus pulled up here, and he's giving his opinion. Everybody has their opinion. You played it or watched you play it. So it's been very interesting to see the different perspectives.
Yeah, it was my first modern
Doom, yeah.
And so I don't have a reference for the first two games, Doom Eternal. And I enjoyed it. I liked it. I didn't feel any compulsion to stream again. And it might be something that I jump back to on an off-stream personal level, maybe. Nothing obnoxious. There were some decisions which made me scratch my head. Things like the dragon section just dragged on way too long. Wasn't that fun to do. Just put me on the ground. Let me shoot things. Let me punch things. They kind of completely lost the ethos of the whole point of bringing Doom back, which was fuck your narrative. We're just shooting shit. And this goes totally against that. And it's like lots of narrative, lots of silly segments with other stuff, mechs and other stuff, dragons and shit. And you just like, I just want to shoot things in the face. So not obnoxious, but yeah, take or leave it. Also, high cost attached to this. This was an expensive game. So it's come out, whether you like the game or not, that it's very likely sold less than 1 million copies.
That's what all signs are pointing. They have not told us that it has sold. I mean, we've seen everybody try to crunch numbers. You have a rough player count, but that's not really sales. And again, I still don't really know how they classify that technically as a play, or player.
Yes.
Like a still kind of a lot of questions surrounding that. Are these people that actually booted the game, and how much of that have they actually put? I don't know. But obviously buyers are what you really want to a unit sold, right? That's what you really want to be focused on. And yeah, it does not look like it has sold that much. I mean, we've seen again, people crunch the data. Everybody's pointing to around or under 1 million units pushed.
How many times are we going to say this, Eric? How on earth are people making money with the absolute minuscule cut they must be getting from Game Pass?
I just don't see how it's going to be around much longer. Like I said, I just don't. That was I scratched my head looking at it from business. And that was how I looked at it. Like, oh, this is great. People are going to have a lot of fun with that because you can just download this app, and now you'll be able to download these games directly to your console or PC or whatever, and you're only paying X amount a month. There's no way they can be getting a return on this, and they're not. Just to be honest, they're not. and we see that, right? It's not really. It's almost like, is this a place where video games go to die? It's like, should it maybe be only reserved to like uber old games? Because especially launching with that, it might not be the best idea, because that little small cut that you're getting isn't going to push the needle if you are trying to make money off of your the game that you are publishing or creating or developing or whatever. So
no,
I don't get it.
No, because they have claimed that the game has over 3 million players. It's that again. Players, not sales. And we saw from, we've seen from multiple games, but let's just use Assassin's Creed Shadows as the example, the classic example. 3 million players. It looked like the game sold about 2 million copies. And that 3 million players was weeks before we got the numbers coming in of about 2 million, maybe 2 million units sold, which is a fucking disaster for Ubisoft. This is a disaster here. If you want to go into business with Microsoft, then you'll get bought out. You'll get a good payday from them. likelihood is it'll be the one and only game you'll ever fucking make.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's good. Your IP is gonna go down. So
Yeah.
I guess you got away with the loot, and now you get to watch your baby be destroyed. But
Yeah.
congrats, I guess.
Yeah. So if you want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, then there you go. Bethesda, who are owned by Microsoft, because they got bought out by Microsoft. Remember, so this is what's going to happen. You know, your Bethesda games are going to go up onto the Game Pass. Any company that Microsoft has purchased is going up on Game Pass because they want those Game Pass subscriptions. And
like I say, from a publisher standpoint, if you're a publisher, right, or a dev, and at least you're trying to get money off the back end, this is probably the worst way to do it, is putting your shit on Game Pass. That makes no sense. It just doesn't. I'm just being completely honest. And I think you have to separate it from you're looking at it from the customer's perspective versus being a owner or a business owner there. So yeah, I think this is why that's probably going to be a lot more attractive for the guys to just say, fuck it, give me the payday, Microsoft. I'll give you X amount of money, or that you give me this amount of money. Maybe it's in the millions or whatever. Maybe it's pennies. I don't know. But they give you the money, and then you have to watch that shit go die. Because to your point, I think actually with this, because it's not doing as well, I think Doom is going to end up being shelved again, like it did before.
Oh yeah, I think this is it. I think this is done now. I don't see a fourth game being developed anytime soon. Particularly with the kind of issues that they have had with Bethesda as well. Now, this is ID Software who develop it, and then it's Bethesda who publish it. Bethesda, of course, who are owned by Microsoft. So there's a whole chain here. And as we've discussed again multiple times in the past, the amount of fucking red tape that's attached to all of this, God knows how much money is just being thrown into a pit of fire with all of this stuff going on. But you know, it's kind of difficult to have sympathy. I thought the game was okay. Like I said, it didn't upset me or it wasn't obnoxious, but it's just like, was it good enough for me to be like, oh, I gotta fire this back up? No, it was like, it's okay.
Yeah,
it's a bit of fun when you're shooting stuff in the face, but it kind of burns bright and then fizzles real quick. Particularly when the set pieces go and just bore the shit out of you, and you're like, okay, wasting my time here. So, with that said, so let's just move on from that. And this isn't by the way, this isn't the last bit of gaming stuff. We got some great Dragon Age the Veilguard stuff to come. EA cancels Black Panther game and closes down Cliffhanger Games.
Breaking news, guys. It just happened.
EA working as EA intends to, which is we'll buy you, we'll shut you down. Like they do. Shelve everything. So this is the Captain America Black Panther game, right?
I don't know what it was the one where they, of course, introduced the character, and I'm not gonna say I had high hopes for it, but I thought it was going to be interesting that they were going to be doing a Black Panther game, but it looks like it's not happening.
I'm
at
sure
all.
This is meant to be Black Panther with Captain America.
I don't remember that part of it. I remember obviously the Black Panther element, but I thought it was going to be decent. But yeah, it gets interesting because this isn't just, hey, we're closing down the game. This literally just, guys, this just happened with Wonder Woman.
Yes.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's not only are you gone or the game's gone, we're shutting down the studio.
Yeah. It's by Electronic Arts. EA is cancelling its planned Black Panther game and shutting down developer Cliffhanger Games. In an email sent to staff from EA, President Laura Miel, well, there you go, there's a fucking red flag already, said that these changes, alongside other recent cancellations and layoffs, are being done to sharpen our focus and put our creative energy on making annual franchises with the FIFA and Madden and NBA. Okay. behind the most growth opportunities. Whatever. There you go. Oh, it's Iron Man. Was it? Okay. Might have been Iron Man and Black Panther. In addition to closing Cliffhanger and cancelling Black Panther, EA is also laying off some individuals on both its mobile and central teams. When asked for an exact number of individuals impacted, EA declined to comment. IGN understands the total number of affected individuals in this wave is less than the roughly 300 roles cut last month across Respawn. Goodbye, Titanfall 3.
Yeah, it's not happening.
And EA's fan care teams. How about you just fight your fucking inclusion and diversity teams? Yeah, because fake jobs
always
fake
a good
people.
place to start. Definitely, when you save some money, you want to save some money because the jobs aren't real.
These decisions are hard, said the very rich person. They affect people we've worked with, learned from, and shared real moments with. I doubt it. We're doing everything we can to support them, including finding opportunities within EA where we've had success helping some land new roles. As with the past rounds of layoffs, EA is endeavoring to place affected individuals in other roles across the company. The company has made use of this placement program with each round of layoffs in recent years, an effort that remains possible despite the constant team cuts, likely due to EA seemingly drastically increasing headcount on other teams at the same time. EA employs 800 more people as of March this year than it did at the same time in 2024.
So they're shifting. Okay, that's an interesting statement. So they do employ more people than they did last year, though they're getting rid of this game. So that obviously leaves us to speculate. That's all we can do on what the hell happened here. They didn't believe in this shit. They did not believe in this game at all.
No, well, here we go. It was Iron Man, not Captain America. I knew it was one of them.
Yeah.
Notably, Marvel and EA's agreement for Black Panther was part of a 3-game deal that included Iron Man and a third unannounced title, which I think was going to be Captain America, if I'm not wrong. Little has been shown of Black Panther so far. Its announcement in 2023 from a job listing. Black Panther was being developed by the newly formed, now closed Cliffhanger Games, formed in 2023 with some former devs from Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. Yeah, there we go. Goodbye, Black Panther.
Yeah, like I said, that's interesting because they're moving shit around. And I wonder, like, again, I don't know what the setup was with Cliffhanger Games, and you know who bought who, or like who was all a part of it, what their deal was. Obviously, I have no idea. But they closed down the studio, so they don't want shit from those guys anymore. And clearly, they did not believe in the studio, or not the studio. Well, clearly they did believe in the studio, but they didn't believe in this game. And I'm about to check. Let's see. I want to know all of what. Oh, did they take the page down already? No, it's still here. So Cliffhanger. Trying to see what all they did. Here, let's see. That's crazy. I mean, they cut down. They shut the bitch down. I don't know.
Well, you start a studio 2 years ago. You get I think that Black Panther is a fine IP to create a game around.
I think absolutely, yeah, for sure.
And you can't make it happen. You can't make Blade happen at Marvel Studios. What is going on here?
Well, I don't know, man. That is really interesting because, like I said, it's the same thing that happened with Wonder Woman, right? Where we sat here and we were like, how can you not come up with a decent, like, it doesn't even need to be the greatest thing in the world or the most innovative thing, but how do you at least not come up with it? Like, or whether you like, oh, we just can't release the shit. Like, we're just not gonna do. I don't know how much. There's no reports. I was looking on like what we got with Wonder Woman, where they had already invested. It was $100 million. I can't remember how much they invested in it before they closed it down. But we don't have numbers for how much. But yeah, they announced that this was happening back in July.
It was 100 million pre-production.
Right.
Never mind all the production work they did on it or whatever.
Right.
But it's 100 million pre-production.
So we got Black Panther 2023 July 10th. So they had a couple of years, basically almost to the day. 2 years. And apparently they just said we can't do shit. And how does I'm very intrigued. I'm not going to pretend like I've worked in game development because I haven't, but I'm very intrigued how that happens.
Well, we've seen a plethora of third-person action games, first-person action games before. You know, you could this would probably be a third-person action game. So let's say things like Tomb Raider, right? Let's use Tomb Raider as an example. Stellar Blade. Yeah, let's use Stellar Blade. Let's use Wukong. You know, as an example, there's an eclectic group there. You've got one that's action adventure. You've got one which is just action. You've got one which is more Souls-like in nature, all third person. All of those games tend to have very, very good gameplay, lots of options, potential in terms of weaponry, arsenal, how the character can function. Or more importantly, or more apt, the Spider-Man games. The Spider-Man games.
True.
So you're telling me that after 2 years, you couldn't conceive a plan for Black Panther and how that would work and how that game could operate in a world, a universe?
I don't understand. I can't answer that one. That's again the part of this that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Eric, I am not being facetious here. Yeah. Okay, I promise you, I'm not being facetious. I have a feeling that these 2 years of discussion, pre-production, etc. I have a feeling that everything that they haven't accomplished in these 2 years, you and I could go into a meeting, sit down, and have it done in one afternoon.
You're probably not wrong.
One fucking afternoon.
We have the concept, the general concept, like the mechanics, growth mechanics. Does it have an element of RPG? All that would be worked out day one. What are we going for day one? That's all worked out. In a one afternoon. We're ready. All right, guys, we got the concept. Now let's make it happen.
So what makes this more interesting for me is I would love to be a fly on the wall and listen to what the fuck is going on in these companies.
Do you think the bloat has a lot to do? Because think about it, it's EA, right? Massive.
Big time.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of definitely for anybody that's worked with an inefficient corporate. I had I'm gonna say luxury. There's a pretty efficient one, but I worked with $1 billion company in IT, right? And I saw what a well-oiled machine looked like, but because I worked for like a staffing company, I did IT for a staffing company, and so I saw some of these external companies, and though they were big, they were how inefficient they were, and just you talked about red tape earlier. And just chain of command and how it's you wonder how the fuck they can get anything fucking done in this place. And I think there's a lot of that. And you can make the argument corporate entities across the board, mega corporation, that's kind of the negative thing about growing so vast like that. And that it almost breeds inefficiency. And I think that's probably a part of it. You could wonder okay, in the 2 years, y'all don't have jack shit to show for it. Right. And then for us, it doesn't make sense. And then you look at it from their perspective, it's yeah, it does kind of make sense because you look at how they were doing things.
Sir, no. So I think that's half the problem.
Yeah, I would make the argument that's the problem. Black Panther game should be more akin to an action game like a Stellar Blade, where it mixes in the story and the cinematic elements are all there. If you play Stellar Blade, they're all there. They just don't dominate the game.
Yes.
Right. And I would argue that's a part of the problem. Just because you get an established IP, if anything, you would think because the IP is already established, you shouldn't have to lean on so much of the cinematic stuff. Because with a Stellar Blade, it's a brand new IP.
Stellar Blade?
It looks great. It's vast. It looks great. Right. It looks great. So I'm right there with you on that. Like, no, that's part of the problem. If you feel like you have to be more cinematic because you're drawing from this IP, I would make the argument that because the IP is already established, it's been there since the damn 60s, right? It's been around. People know who the character is. You actually have more room to create more of a gameplay oriented game as opposed to leaning on like cinematics so much because we know who the character is. Like with a Stellar Blade, that's the tall order that you have, is that it's a brand new IP. So your first introduction to the character is the game. So there's a lot of world building, a lot of storytelling that has to happen around it to get you invested in it, right? To get you immersed in the world. Well, you don't have to worry about that, at least not as much as a Black Panther, because most people are already gonna at least have some frame of reference as to who this character actually is. So yeah, I would argue that
Look at Batman Arkham Asylum.
That's part of the problem.
In Batman Arkham Asylum, you got Batman, you know, fucking hell, huge, colossal. What you do? You put Batman in a confined area, Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
You know, and then when the sequel came, Arkham City, you put him out in the city.
Yeah.
So it can easily be done. It can very easily be done.
And it's gameplay or like you're telling the story within the game. Like, which to me, that's what video gaming should be about. It should not have to lean so heavily on these fucking cinematics. I get that's part of like trying to get you guys immersed in it, but I think there are great ways to do it and bad ways to do it. The gameplay still should be king, right? And this is why you prefer like flying around even in Arkham City as fucking Batman, right? Like, and doing Batman shit, right? And it's like, sure, there may be a cutscene or something, but it's very game. That's what that game almost, the Arkham games is almost perfect in terms of the balance there, right? It has those elements there, but they lead with the gameplay. They lead
keep
with
your cutscenes tight.
Yeah,
you want a big cutscene, you leave it to the conclusion of the game as a bit of a reward. But you keep your cutscenes succinct and tight. You focus on your gameplay elements because gameplay is the most important.
Right.
There's a lot of games which have lost that now, and they lean way too much into let's get to the next cinematic by having a little bit of gameplay.
That's part of the problem. Yeah. That's part of the fucking problem with modern gaming is that it's almost like the gameplay is just a crutch to get you to the next fucking cutscene, right? And it almost doesn't feel like a game. You're just playing an interactive movie, right? Yes. That's the problem. I'd argue in modern gaming, that is the fundamental problem, is that they lean too heavily on that as a core structure instead of just like, dude, it's a video game. People that are playing this, the whole point is for them as the player to be the ones that are impacting sort of the experience in itself. It's not trying to lead me to the next fucking cutscene, which leads me to the next cutscene, which leads me to the next, right? So there are more tasteful ways to do that. And I think especially with these more adventure games or more story-oriented games, I think that's the problem that a lot of these guys run into. And especially if you don't have those creatives that are part of it that can tell an interesting story, sure, you're never going to get beyond that. That's your bottleneck, or rather that's your ceiling that you're hitting. And maybe that's what they hit, where they were like, fuck, we got Black Panther, which is amazing to me. I just can't think of it as, especially with a company like we got our wing like Rippazine. I could not imagine Marvel hitting me up and saying, hey, we got this character, you may have heard of him, it's Black Panther. Figure out how to make a comic. I'll be like, okay, that's it. Oh, that's easy, right? Okay, we'll have this book out in a fucking month. No sweat. So I just can't think of a fucking gaming company being, inheriting that, whether they got it through the license or whatever, inheriting that and being like, fuck, dog, I don't know what the fuck to do. We got the property, now what? All right, let's go into development. Let's spend $100 million. We're gonna shut you down. I don't like what I see, or you guys have not come up with anything that we find sufficient. Not only are we just going to not have the game ever come out, we're going to shut the whole fucking studio down, which is exactly what they did here. And we saw it over there with Wonder Woman. I'm sorry, I can't make sense of that. How can you not make a Wonder Woman game? No. How can you not make a Black Panther game? If there's layups to be made, they're in those styles. The characters, the powers, and everything lends itself towards a great action adventure game. I can imagine running around fucking anywhere, even if it was just limited to Wakanda, running around fucking with Black Panther, fucking shit up. I think that should be a layup. That's it. That's easy, but they can't figure it out.
Well,
remarkable.
I mean, it is remarkable how they can't. I mean, we had a 10-minute discussion about what we would do with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And we were pretty much aligned immediately on how we thought, it would work and the function of it. And just like, whoa, okay, well, if two guys can have pretty much the same idea, maybe just that is where it seems to lean towards.
Right.
So you have to say, what are they coming up with that's making it so difficult? And how are they plowing $100 million into fuckety all? It's gotta be a fucking money laundering scheme.
Yeah, there has to be some books being not even cooked.
Drop some garlic with these books because they're fucking cooked, man.
Yeah, like for sure. But I can't make sense of it. I just can't make sense of dumping those resources in with an IP, because that's the difficult part. I've done many videos. If you guys are going to want to watch these videos that I've even done on the Creative Business channel, like one of the difficult things that, if not the most difficult thing in being an independent, despite having all these resources that are now available to you, it's like that getting that audience in, right? Giving them something interesting enough for them to give you the time of day. Right, is that big? That's that big hurdle that everybody must have. So you can think you have all these good ideas, but it's going to be ultimately up for the audience to determine. The audience is going to be the one to say, I'm interested in this or I'm not interested in it. That's how it works, and that it can be very difficult because it's not even just about exposure alone. I've argued that people place way too much into that, because a lot of people know you exist does not mean that they're going to be interested in your shit. Like,
no, you have to earn it. You have to earn it. You're not owed. Right? We keep telling you you're not owed anything because of IP, company name,
right?
Whatever brand, whatever it is, you're not owed shit.
Nothing.
And I think that's where we've got to in terms of this stuff, is why they're so anti-customer, is because they no longer respect the customer as an entity that they need. Now, according to the company, you need to be worthy of purchasing from them.
Absolutely. You have to live up to their standards.
Exactly. And this is why you're failing miserably.
Yeah, that's not a recipe. I don't care if you're big or you're an independent. That is a stupid decision or a stupid perspective to have. And that you think that the customers must live up to your ever so glorious work that you put out.
Well,
right?
whatever pedestal you put yourself on. Yeah.
That's which is asinine. But there's a lot of ego and a lot of people that believe that, especially with these mega corporations. And we've seen that, right? You have to live up to their standard. Even what we're seeing, like, for example, with Andor, right? Which is kind of interesting to see the conversation about that happening with, like, okay, they say that it's great. And then it's like, well, nobody's watching it. And then when someone's like, well, I have watched it, I'm a big Star Wars guy, it just doesn't really feel that, like, oh, well, you're not smart enough, as you don't really get it. It doesn't really process.
So we're going down the media literacy route.
Yeah.
Oh my God, these people just are not media. Okay.
You just don't get it, right? And yeah,
show me your long boxes.
Yeah, sort of, as we always say.
Oh, they're empty.
As we always say.
Show me your fan. Oh, there's nothing there apart from empty packets of ramen noodles. Gotcha.
Yep. So yeah, like it is one of those. EA is clearly restructuring, but like I use that term literally because, as the report, at least according to the report, they have more employees than they did last year. So it's not a mere layoff. It's like they're
it's a shift. It's a focus. Yes, it's shifting of focus. Yeah.
Right. So they're going to other things. What that stuff is, EA, as they always have been, they should be sitting pretty enough to come. I mean, definitely we've seen what's happening with Activision and the Call of Duty franchise. You got this big explosion that's happening with your Battlefront game for reasons unknown. I don't understand it. I don't know what. I have no idea where that fucking
came happened.
From. I don't know.
What happened?
I don't fucking know. The game's old as shit.
It's like, wait a minute, was it the second coming of Christ?
Yeah, I don't get it. But
suddenly everyone's just like, Battlefield 2, go!
Yeah. So okay. I don't know what's going on, but that they're working on their next Battlefield. And so it's got people entering like Battlefront. So EA is sitting pretty. EA is sitting very pretty to position themselves often because of their competitors' mistakes to do something. Now, do we trust that they will? Not so much, but we'll see. We will see. But they've said we don't want jack shit. And you wonder if though at the different studios and all of that, but you wonder after seeing with something like a Outlaws, right? And you see like these IPs that it wasn't enough. Just having the IP wasn't enough.
To get Mam Solo.
Yeah, so you wonder if that has something to do with it, right? If that has something to do with like, okay, maybe we should be focusing elsewhere and on other things that maybe do work. So I don't know. That's looking at it as objective as I can. What I do know is not only is the Black Panther game not happening, Cliffhanger Games doesn't exist anymore.
No, bye.
Crazy.
You are expendable. And when a major corporation like EA says we're shifting our focus, it invariably seems to be shifting more into the monetization areas, because there's no innovation coming from these studios anymore. Once upon a time, the AAA, they were the reason why they were called AAA studios is they would produce AAA games. They would produce the games which paved the pathway for the next generation of video games and where we were going. And that's no longer the case, because they got to a point where they just wanted to monetize, post-purchase monetize. And all their focus went on to post-purchase monetization schemes. And now all AAA is literally just annual franchises or a game that they'll keep running and running, live service. They'll keep running and running to pull every last bit of money. The quality of the games are in the shitter. However, there are a lot of people which will still buy them in the droves. They'll always buy the next FIFA, Madden, COD, etc., because reasons unknown.
Yeah.
And now it's being left to the AA industry or the independent, who are just focusing on gameplay elements and putting out games which people are now gravitating towards in terms of gameplay. Again, Claire Obscure, Expedition 33.
Yep.
Now sold 3.3 million copies in 33 days. I'm sure that's been fudged, but, who cares? In terms of just making all those aligned, still a nice little story. Still sold 3.3 million copies. But again, they've taken something like turn-based combat and they've put a spin on it and made it exciting, while also having great characters, great world, great narrative behind it. So your senses are getting stimulated on multiple different levels. Then you got independent games coming in, schedule whatever, and all that, schedule one, whatever. All these little games that we're playing on Sunday Fun Day, we tend to focus more on the independent games. Cheap, they're very cheap to buy, but the fun is what we create from it. And they are providing excellent tools for us to do that. That's not what the AAA is doing. What have we got coming from Naughty Dog? Fucking ugly mingers in space. Ugly flat-chested mingers with bald heads, ticking boxes in space. That's likely going to be a pile of fucking wank. But here's the Pet Shop Boys, and here's Porsche. So I guess credibility. And then you look at stuff coming from Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed 59,624. Why aren't Japanese people black? And again, it just fails miserably because there's no invention. There's no invention in gameplay. There's no new direction. There's nothing new there. If you've seen any Assassin's Creed game, you've seen Assassin's Creed Shadows, probably done slightly worse, looking slightly prettier, with slightly everybody not giving a fuck about it because it didn't sell. So we're in a really weird situation where if a major IP, if a major studio, a Microsoft, a Sony, somebody like that knocks at your door, you got to ask yourself a question: are you in it for the money, or are you in it to push this IP and hopefully get paid along the way.
Guys,
because one will work, you'll get paid, but your fucking stuff will go.
Yeah, and that's the look. If I'm being just uber positive about this is what I'm hoping that independent guys understand, that they no longer have to do that anymore. Okay. I understand that once upon a time, okay, you hit a ceiling. It was only so far that you could get without working with a major publisher, or you had to go through the basically the channels that were available, right? Because everybody had their way of doing things. But now with the technological advancements that we have today and social media and everything, there are other ways, funding efforts even. So what I'm hoping happens is what I did and what I continue to do every day. And that's, you got to say no, in the words of Cat Williams. So he's talking about Diddy. He's like, you got to tell him no. Like, this is what I hope that people do, right? Is that they just understand that you will get an immediate payout, and it will seem like life-altering money that they will give you, and your IP is going to die then and there. It's done, right? Because you've sold it off, and you got a big payday, right? And for some people, it's like the art of the flip. That's what they want to do. Like, I created thing, I flip said thing, and I move on to the thing. I got the big payday, but I'm hoping that people have enough passion into what they have, and enough, like, again, just general passion to want to continue to create and keep creating. And sure, you're not going to get the big payday, but I think long-term wise, this is far more beneficial to go that route, to keep it in control, always learn. You sure that means that you're not going to have the big box office immediately. That's not going to happen. It's impossible. And you're not going to have that massive payday immediately, right? And it's going to be very enticing. They're going to try to give you an offer that you cannot refuse, but just tell them no, because I hate seeing it. We've seen it time and time again where they will pick and pluck these IPs, and they will. And Microsoft has it really bad because Microsoft does it with tech a lot. Right? Like, it's like they specifically buy your ass out so they can put you on the shelf.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And it's like, maybe you were a competitor, maybe you were up and coming. They just did it with Skype. Skype used to be like the #1 fucking video
once upon a time
platform at one point, right? And they said, nah, we're gonna strip it from the stuff that we may find useful, right? And we're gonna move everybody over to our own shit. And we shutting that motherfucker down. So that's what they did. So, and that's kind of the tactic that they've historically used, and a lot of gaming companies, big publishers do it as well, right? So, yeah, man, hopefully people just tell them no, stay control, because if you see any amount of success, they're going to be knocking on your door immediately. Soon as you hit that, they're going to say, and it doesn't matter your politics, none of that shit. They see something that saw semi-success, they're going to hit you up and be like, hey, what you think about, okay, we'll give you X amount of millions of dollars, more money than you've ever seen in your life. The only caveat is that you have no control over it anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll give you a credit, right? We'll give you a little credit. Your name will pop up at the end of the game and what have you. And sure, we'll do some nice interviews. We'll have you coming along the way as far as like doing some video content or whatever. But ultimately, when the buck stops with now the company that just paid you off. And what happens when they give. Because what's even worse is not only just killing it, what's even worse is bastardizing it. Because if they get control of it, and now they get a bunch of people that are going to be part of the project that have no connection to it, have no passion in it, may treat it with spite, may not even like it, but they now are creatives involved in it, and we're seeing it right now in the comic book industry. They will then bastardize your property, and that's even worse. So I hope that
you make deals with the devil. This is what you're gonna get.
That's exactly what you're gonna get. That's exactly what you're gonna get. So,
well, speaking of a bastardized IP, let's now go to Dragon Age: The Veilguard. They're very determined suddenly to see your game fail. Well, if it's looking like a pile of fucking shit, David, yes. Former Dragon Age writer calls out anti-fans.
Is that what they're calling them?
Anti-fans who bet on games failing before launch. Now, even before we go into this article, right? Let's put some context out there. If I see, for instance, the next Dragon Age game's coming out, is my proclivity to immediately go, hope it fails? No, of course it isn't. That's nonsense. When I see what they're doing, when I see the shoved in politics, when I see men in dresses trying to portray shit, when I see fucking far left ideological, disgusting, by the way, mutilating aspects in a video game, yeah, I want your game to fucking fail because I think you're filth. Because it doesn't add more options like they claim, because all it does is adds the options of a specific side, right? And fuck everyone that doesn't agree with your ideology, fuck everyone that doesn't agree with that, and fuck everyone who just doesn't want to see it in video games because they just want to have the world of Dragon Age to explore and have fun in. So when that happens, 100%, am I an anti-fan? No. Do you know why? Because I'm not even a fan of this. I might be a fan of Dragon Age Origins. I might be a fan of Dragon Age something else. But that doesn't mean that just because you put Dragon Age on it, I'm immediately a fan of it. No. Again, it goes back to you have to talk me into the seat, not vice versa. I'm not at the cinema, handed over my money already, and then you get to do what you want. No. So in terms of this video game, I'm not a fan of it until you show me something which I could be a fan of. So there's no anti-fans.
Yeah.
There are people who are sick and tired of your fucking dog shit.
Well, that's the context, right? This is the context. And for that to not be discussed, I think is the problem. And it really shows that the industry hasn't even learned remotely, which is actually sad. It doesn't seem like they've learned from their mistakes. The context is important, and we've seen what happened culturally. This has nothing to do with simply wanting your game to fail. I think that's not the starting point. That's not where people are starting. It's, well, we got to this point because of all of the things that as mentioned, right? That has more to do with like bastardizing games that people have loved, shoehorning in and more rather forcing in your more political or social positions right onto the gamers, especially with IPs that have already been established, right? Like, yeah, they're gonna have some sort of pushback on that, but that's the context. And to remove that and think, well, it's like, well, I'll take a step back. We weren't having this conversation decades ago. If a game came out and it was bad, it was just bad, right? Like that was more of the conversation. The reason why this conversation happens now is, again, all of what has happened culturally, and for them to act like they are unaware of that is what really gets me. Because you're not, how can you learn from it if you can't properly identify the problem? This isn't merely anti-fans or someone that just sees your shit and they're like, I want you to fail. If there's one or two people, all right, that may have that position, whatever, but that's not like the world at large. It has a lot to do with what's going on culturally. It has a lot to do with what's going on socially, and most importantly, it's more of a self-inflicted wound of you kind of, again, shoehorning, because you think even if the Dragon Age game came out and it was uneventful, they didn't have all of the political and social shit attached to it, people would have just been like, damn, this is a disappointing Dragon Age. There's already been disappointing or divisive Dragon Age games, right? There's already been a thing, right?
Yeah,
so,
two and Inquisition are
that's
quite
what I'm
divisive.
saying, especially Inquisition, right? Like one that I had more fond memories on. Other people say I'm stupid as fuck.
I thought it was okay.
Right. Yeah. So you know, I get it, right? Like people have played divisive. But when I say divisive, I'm not meaning like in more of its content. I'm saying divisive in more of in the game in itself, as it's more mixed.
Yes.
Right. It's not unanimously loved, but that was just all that it was. The reason why you have people feeling the way that they have recently with games is because of the cultural and social political landscape. And if they want to sit up there and stick their damn heads in the sand and act like that has nothing to do with what's going on, that's their problem. This is not simply people like, it's not even a bet on what I need to bet on the game. For we saw it for what it was. We knew that this game was DOA. And that was because of shit you presented, not us.
Yeah, exactly.
Had nothing to do with us. We knew it was there. This isn't about me. I'm not waking up like, oh well shit. New Dragon Age game, this game that I've played several installments of. I want it to be asshole. No, nobody's like thinking that. You come in, you lead with the shit that you lead with, and then we respond like, I don't know about that. That's fucking stupid. And then when you actually play the game, it's worse. Mm-hmm. The game itself is worse than what the promotion, the whole thing that you did on the campaign trail. All of that shit that you shoehorn is even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Right? These goofy ass fucking characters pulling a barb and misgendering and all this other gay shit. Like that, it was when you actually play it, and I clocked hours on this damn game. When you actually play it, it's worse. Worse. It's even worse. So it has nothing to do with betting or wanting it to fail. You wanted it to fail.
Fucking hell.
You wanted it to do it. You wanted it to do that, and you just don't seem to even want to understand that. Like, why? Maybe it has a lot to do. I don't know. But people don't want this goofy ass shit in their video games. Could it be that simple? Could it be that simple?
Well, the thing is, I was before I came to a different country. I was working on a video, which will come out at some point. But the premise of the video essentially is that Dragon Age: The Veilguard isn't even a video game because it doesn't exactly exhibit the elements of what a video game should be. Every single thing in that game, like they don't even know how to do combat, they don't even know how to do exploration, they don't even know how to do puzzles. They don't, there's nothing. They don't know how to do fucking anything in this game. But what they do know how to do in this game is shoehorn far left ideological, disgusting, degenerate politics down your throat because they're degenerate people. Now, the guy who's being interviewed here, David Gator, emphasis on gay. David Gator has already had a clash with fans because he had his rant on Blue Sky. By the way, if you don't know what Blue Sky is, people, it's another social media platform that's an echo chamber for leftists.
Yes,
but it has
perfectly put
5,000% more pedophiles on it than any other, because that's where they go to distribute their CP. And he had a rant and a rave about, oh, you don't tell us how to do women and all this kind of stuff, because in their eyes, you're scum. You're plebby gamers. You're the lowest of the low, and they're up here and the righteous of the righteous. So if you don't accept what they're trying to push to you, then you're wrong, you're evil. Then we get the stupid language that we get today. Everybody's a fucking Nazi. Everybody's fucking Hitler. Hitler did nothing wrong to some people. It's just absolute peak fucking retardation, because nobody can seem to handle the fact that some people have opinions, some people have other opinions, and people can't understand that why chopping women up and putting men into women's sports to destroy and make a mockery of them is actually quite a bad thing. To have men invade female spaces where children are, female girls are, where it can be easily abused due to the fucking system of predators is actually not a good thing to have, right? But
it's not difficult.
Eric's is the black face of white supremacy.
Oh, they tell me.
I'm the white face of brown supremacy. Everything's just up, fucking down, roundabout.
Yeah.
So David Goode criticized the way gamers have come to celebrate certain games' failures. Well, number one, when a piece of shit fails, it should be celebrated. 100%. Because these companies are never going to learn unless they're mocked into oblivion. So when we see all that bullshit from Dragon Age with the Barv, and so I'm not binary, you should be mocked mercilessly into absolute pure shame because it's the most embarrassing, pathetic shit imaginable.
Pulling a bar.
Wept. Former BioWare writer, former because they were fired. Sorry, they left of their own accord, I'm sure. Former BioWare writer David Gader, who worked on the likes of Baldur's Gate 2, KOTOR, the first 3 Dragon Age games, not including Veilguard. Well, the Veilguard was Dragon Age 3, so... Okay. Recently spoke out about an issue he dubbed anti-fans in an interview with Gaydar Radar. We've seen it happen time and again. A subset of players and content creators catch wind of some detail they don't like in a project and make it a personal mission to spend the lead up to launch bashing the game as much as humanly possible.
Like I say, look, I just think that that's it is an easy way to describe it, but I think it's wild.
No, I think it's quite right. I think it's quite right, actually. I think you described it well, and I absolutely agree with these people. Because when you are creating a video game and you see this retardation of fucking either characters, world, gameplay, politics, then yes, do you know what? I will make it my life's mission to make sure nobody buys your fucking shit. And I'll do it with a smile on my fucking face and joy in my heart because I would love to see nothing more than fucking dumb fuck idiots like you on your fucking high horses, you pieces of fucking shit, fail miserably. I want you all closed down. I want you all to lose your fucking jobs. I want you to be destitute on the fucking streets and never have any interaction with human beings ever again. If that's clear enough for you.
I mean, look, man. This is the problem. It's again the lack of self-awareness. And by self, I'm talking about games industry, the entire industry. We got here because of y'all. It wasn't us.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I didn't.
You're probably wondering how we got here.
Yeah, exactly. We got here because of y'all. The industry, the Western gaming industry decided. A lot of that had to do with a guy that they didn't like who won again, becoming president. But these weirdos made this declaration that they were going to use their material as a vehicle for their personal, social, and political ideology.
They've admitted to it.
Yes.
Alex Kurtzman said it. Star Trek is no longer. These are his words. Star Trek is no longer about Star Trek. It's about using Star Trek as a platform for our messages.
Yeah.
This is video games. They are now platforms for these fucking retards' messages.
Yeah. That's all that it has become. You've admitted that. And because, well, this is what happened. The customers became aware of that tactic, right? Even if you didn't want to admit it. We all saw what the fuck was happening over the years, and everybody's like, yeah, something doesn't feel right. But we didn't even have to do all that because you told on yourselves, okay? So it puts us in this position, especially with IPs that are already established, but not only that, where we know that this goofy shit is going to happen. In fact, it would be a surprise if it didn't almost at this point when it's coming from Western Games Company. It would be a pleasant surprise, though, nonetheless. If a Western game developer just said, hey, guys, we just want you to have fun. It doesn't mean that you're going to succeed at that. But if you came out and your main goal was not all this other goofy shit, not any of that. We just want you guys to have fun. And if we fail in that regard, so be it. But people are going to be a lot more forgiving on you if you just, like, again, you have the right to make a bad game, or you have a right to make a game that you've already done it with Dragon Age that some people don't like. but we don't end up having this cultural or social conversation because that had nothing to do with it in the past. Well, now you lead with it. So we're forced to have to consider that when analyzing the landscape of gaming, right? We'd be stupid not to, right? You set the rules, right? You determine what the rules of engagement were going to be. So we have to act accordingly, right? And for me, it's not about wanting you, in my personal opinion, like it's not about wanting you to, I didn't tell you to make this game. Correct. I didn't tell you to add the pronoun shit. I didn't tell you to have a character talk about pulling a bar. I didn't tell you to have a character run around talking about the pronouns and shit and be an absolute fucking
piece of shit.
Yeah, the character just all around sucks.
While everyone else kissed their ass because how dare you criticize somebody with identity politics because that would be bigoted or whatever they want. Just fuck off. Go fuck yourself, David. Go fuck yourself. Buy yourself a dildo, bend over, fucking stick it on the wall and fucking back up like a truck going beep, beep, beep until you're well and truly fucked, mate.
That was on them. Right?
Of course it is.
That's not on us. I didn't do that.
But the next paragraph, by the way, we haven't even got to David yet. We're still dealing with the fucking retard.
The person that wrote it, Stevie.
Because this next paragraph is fucking unreal. Sometimes they'll claim victory with sales flops like Concord or Dragon Age the Veilguard. And others, they'll pretend like nothing ever happened when a targeted game reviews and sells well like Assassin's Creed Shadow. It's a failure! It's dead! It didn't even sell 3 million copies! It needed to sell about 7 or 8 to break fucking even!
What does that even mean as a targeted game review? Like,
number one, take reviews and shove them at your fucking ass, Stephen, because how many fucking sales does that do? None. Fucking zilch, mate. Nada, because nobody reads your fucking shit. We're doing it because we're making fun of you and laughing. It sold like anus. It sold so bad that on the very first week of release, they had to sell 25% of their fucking company.
That's what had to happen. To the Chinese.
To the fucking Chinese!
To the Chinese.
To their commie overlords! Here in the free West, where we fucking love communism just as long as we don't have to be part of it and we get to keep all our shit and money and get to preach at the little people.
Yeah,
holy
I don't know.
Fucking shit. Champagne socialist wankers, mate.
I don't know what the targeted aspect of that means, but yeah, this is.
It means criticism. That's what it means. It means when people like Ubisoft, a bunch of fucking hundreds of crackers in a room, tell a country that, by the way, 400 years ago, you should have been more diverse and stunning and inclusion. Fuck off.
Yeah, again, another game I didn't tell them to make, didn't tell them to try to find one black guy in feudal Japan.
You know what we did do?
Didn't tell them to make them gay while they were at it.
Do you know what we did do? We warned them.
Yeah.
We fucking warned them.
That was a stupid approach. Shouldn't have did it. Shouldn't have did it.
Easiest layup in the history of fucking Assassin's Creed.
You already have examples of games that are already made in the same era that have been successful. You had to go out of your way to fuck this up, Ubisoft.
And they did.
That's exactly.
And they did. But apparently, that is targeted harassment. So, by the way, all the examples that you use here are fucking failed games.
Yeah.
Failed games that lost a lot of money, hundreds of millions of dollars. The difficulty, quote, this is a quote. So imagine this is Gator. The difficulty is if suddenly you end up with anti-fans. It's like OnlyFans, but with clothes on. They turn from what you want. I mean, isn't he answering his own fucking questions here? They turn from what you want because you're not giving them what they want.
True.
Fans who would go out and spread word of your game and get people interested, said Gator. But if you get anti-fans, they sort of do the opposite. What if your game looks shit? They go, do you know this game? It looks shit. They sort of do the opposite. They're very determined suddenly to see your game fail as sort of, doesn't he? Likes to use sort of. Are you afraid of commitment, David? Sort of a lesson to others who would make games of the same type, right?
That's called markets.
It's a warning.
That's called markets, though. This is not how it works. Isn't that how markets work? Like, I'm not even trying to be an asshole about it.
I thought we were a free market, Eric.
Yeah, I thought that's exactly what it was. Yeah, that's what it would do. If you made a game and then like it failed, right? That's the market saying that we don't want that shit, right? And we don't want others to make the shit either. We don't want people investing that money into making this type of shit. Like that's how
Starfield failed because of me. Did it fail? Because I distinctly making a video saying Starfield failed and it's my fault, but it's not actually really, because that was a fucking joke. Had nothing to do with fucking me.
Right.
My fucking rant about Starfield went viral because it hit what a lot of people were fucking thinking.
Yeah, that's what they don't look at the why.
You had all your leftists going, oh yeah, we certainly learned that guy online, didn't we? We poked and he went, you sir, you're bigot, sir. Yeah, but you know what? There are fucking millions of other people that just say, oh my god, this guy's saying exactly what we've been fucking thinking.
Yeah.
And it was a moment. It was a moment not just because of Starfield. It was a moment because I just had that straw that broke the donkey's back. I'm here. 20 years in the making. Starfield, 20 years in the fucking making. Bethesda's next great adventure game. We've got The Elder Scrolls, which deals with fantasy. We've got Fallout, which has that post-apocalyptic thing. And now Starfield is going to take you into space. And it was shit. It was boring, dull, and shit. And it took every element that made Fallout and Elder Scrolls games great, and it fucking got rid of them for loading screens. All that exploration, gone. All those areas to explore, gone. Empty world after empty world after empty world. So did I kill Starfield? Of course I fucking didn't. I had nothing to do with the fucking thing. People were just like, yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a side effect, right? It's like, well, yeah, you know, they made the game. And then you had, you know, you said your bit and a bunch of people just happen to agree with it. So yeah, like I said, Gator here is just, he doesn't get it, right? It's like, yeah, the market is going to say that, okay, it's not even about seeing your game fail. It's more like that's how they respond. If you do fail, market's the market. Now tell people this on the other side as well. You know, if something that you don't like ends up being this wild success, this is something that everybody as a customer, you know, everybody's like, you gotta, it's almost like you gotta humble yourself, right? Because you gotta understand that, well, your opinion isn't the opinion. And if a bunch of other customers decided and determined that this is what they wanted, and they showed and they gave it, and it reaped, like the company that was selling whatever reaped the financial benefits, that's the market responding. It goes the opposite way, obviously, as well. If the market said, look, all those people that you were trying to appeal to, which were people that cut their genitals off for some reason, and won a game that in which they could see themselves, right? Okay, great. They didn't show up. I actually played the game. I actually played it. People that you were appealing to didn't, or attempting to appeal to didn't.
Maybe they did, but maybe they understood what the actual number of people they're appealing to was.
Yeah, it's just not that many.
Yeah, it's just not that many, do you know? It's not that many.
So yeah, like it's the market. That's how it is. I mean, the market's it's not that they're even teaching you the lesson. That's just, again, the side effect of operating in a market.
There's stuff that I've loved that has not sold well or done well.
Yes, we talked about it with the last Mission Impossible.
Perfect example. I loved the film. I saw it 3 times at the cinema. Dead Reckoning Part 1. Thought it was great. Lost money. And there's stuff that I've not liked that has done well.
Yeah, it happens the other way. Yep.
It happens the other way. And there's stuff which is done okay. That's the free market.
That's how it works, baby. Beautiful system.
But if you think, sorry, I looked upon your game and I thought it looked like utter crap and it was a complete and utter disaster and mess, antithetical to what I think this franchise should be, sir, I should just remain silent and let nature take its course. No, I'm going to fucking tell people that your fucking game's a piece of fucking shit.
Especially when you're making a social statement, a social political statement.
Exactly.
The fuck? Like, that's the main part. Again, you have a right to make a bad game. If it was just a regular game that just didn't land, maybe because remember, we talked about it both as even if you removed all the goofy shit, it's still a fuck game.
It's a terrible game.
Yes. It's still a fuck game.
From terrible gameplay to terrible zones to terrible graphics, etc. Blah blah.
It's
just
terrible
not.
You remove all that, it's not what it's worth. Okay, so if they had just made that though, then that's all we'd be talking. We'd be like, it wouldn't be this conversation about any of the cultural stuff. We'd just be like, yeah, man, it just didn't land. They just didn't fucking land.
Yeah.
It is what happened. But you wanted to make this statement, and then the audience said, okay, we hear you. We fucking hear you, right? We don't want it. We do not want this. This is a problem that has plagued this industry. We don't want this shit. And so they act accordingly. And again, Gator, I don't think in any regards he does even acknowledge that. I mean, he talks about this. He says Gator went on to explain how he's seen fandom culture exacerbate this problem. More and more fandoms are making the things that they're fans of the
of their identity.
Yeah, of their identity. And if it's integral to their identity, right? Anything
when
that affects it or insults it,
it's so weird.
insults them.
Yeah.
So they are invested in making it what they imagine that, like I said, if they turn into anti-fans, suddenly their personal investment in seeing that fail or seeing the developers who made that decision be punished. The market's going to do that either way. Right? Like it's and again, it doesn't have
that's called taste.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
it's called having taste.
It doesn't even require an action. It's more of the inaction leads to that, right?
Yeah.
People didn't reach into their pockets, pay for game, buy game, and therefore the market.
By the way, fans have always done this.
This is how it works.
It's just that the internet provides a bigger platform for them to hit more people.
That's true.
And then algorithms push all those people together.
Yeah.
As we've seen, and that's how algorithms work. I fucking hate Dragon Age. Then the algorithm will be like, oh, you hate Dragon Age. We got some other fucking things here that you're probably gonna find dog shit. Here's Concord. Here's fucking, that's how it happens. But there's no denying, and there either seems to be a complete lack of awareness or
that's the problem. That's the core issue. Yeah, either they're fucking just blind pieces of shit, or they're just fucking clueless. Where they're like he's just so, and look, that's always the danger of being in that bubble, right? I get it. Like you want to be around the folks that tend to agree with you, and you tend to resonate. It's not even agree with you; it's more that you can just generally resonate with. But if that starts to form into this more or less just a straight up echo chamber, you become so fucking delusional, especially in losing, right? You become so delusional that you think that your opinion is necessarily the opinion, and instead of having the awareness to be like, maybe we shouldn't have led with all this goofy shit with Dragon Age. Maybe we shouldn't have had characters pulling a bar.
No, but see, the thing is though, that's not what they're thinking. They're thinking why those fucking bigots killed our game.
Good point.
So that it's not that mentality.
That's not the mentality at all. The mentality is, how dare these motherfuckers not support that shit we put out.
Corinne Bush is gone. They got fired / left, and they've been hired to fuck something else up. He doesn't give a shit. Yeah, because he's now on to do his fucking men in dress thing in another fucking place.
In another shit. Yeah.
Remember,
so you're right.
I'm from the UK. By law, I must refer to men as men and women as women, because we've passed a law. I do not want to be illegal. You
don't want to break the law, man.
No. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't want to get myself into trouble with the law, particularly lesbian Nana and her mates.
He does bring this up. Well, at least the writer of Stevie was his name?
Stephen
Was it
Stephen fucking lives in a world of, is it Stevie Bonifield?
Sounds like a fake name, but Stevie
Sounds
Bonifield.
like a very fake name.
Yeah, Stevie Bonifield.
Stevie Bonifield.
Yeah, that did sound real. Maybe that is that. But no, he says, unfortunately, the media and the cultural environment that produces this behavior doesn't seem likely to change anytime soon. Well, again, I think it's more important to understand who kicked the shit off, right?
Yes.
Like it wasn't the fans. The fans they're just buyers, they're customers. Like they either buy or do not buy what you're presenting to them, right? And they're already there. So it won't. If you're saying that it's not going to change, you're telling me that the developers are just going to continue to do the same shit, and so they got to continue to get the same reaction.
Oh, good. Bye. Your company's done. Because
you'll be where. What was the company that we were covering earlier? Cliffhanger.
Oh, Cliffhanger. Bye.
Yeah, you'll be over there with those guys.
2 years, can't even get a fucking goddamn Black Panther game going.
What the fuck is going on? I don't get it. So yeah, it doesn't. He says we're even gearing up for our next flashpoint. Alongside genuine concerns about Marathon's genre shift from Destiny and well-earned criticism of Bungie plagiarizing from the artists, a subset of players appears to have become invested in it, failing financially in a mean-spirited way. And look, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. This could change. What he's asking for, despite refusing to acknowledge the reality, he's asking for a games industry and culture of before, where people could put things out. People could even put out things that were bad, but they were just bad. It wasn't a big cultural hoopla about it. I would love to return to that. I would love to return to that type of form where it's like, yeah, this isn't for me, and I don't have to talk about the shit that you put in there or that you led with. But if you are going to infiltrate the games industry and you're going to make it about pulling bars and cutting your shit off and having scars so everybody could see, even though this is a world full of magic shit, you're gonna, if that's what you want to lead with, then yes, you're going to continue to get what you've got before. And that's a massive pushback. I would love for it to be a games industry of old, where these games put something out. Hell, I even like there's bad games that I enjoy, right? And I would love for that to be the conversation. I would love for that to be the conversation. I would love for us to be able to just talk about, you know what? That game sucked. But that's it. Here's why it sucked. Gameplay was terrible. It didn't land with this, didn't land with that. Okay, great. We're not talking about Orange Man, or we're not talking about trans bullshit, or we're not talking about whatever the flavor of the day is in the political sphere that you'd like to be separate from fucking gaming, or ideological sphere that you'd like to be separate from gaming. Right.
No, the thing is with Marathon, right, is we're not talking about some small indie company here. We're talking Bungie, with all the power that Bungie have behind it, with all the success that Bungie have had with Halo, Destiny to some degree, and them, this huge company, stealing assets on a game that looks mid as fuck, that doesn't look engaging, looks soulless, looks bland, looks empty, and epitomizing everything that's wrong with the AAA gaming industry in the West right now. So yeah, if people are like, do you know what? Having seen this and their attitude and their fucking theft, when they can afford God knows how fucking much, they have all the resources at their fingertips, but they chose to steal. And not only that, they have all the resources under their fingertips, and they put out this fucking mid piece of shit. It's the AAA Western gaming industry once again showing exactly what they are. Lazy.
Yep.
Lazy fucking developers, bloated, lazy, fucking wasting money, no doubt, on other shit, because goodness knows how many fucking millions have been pumped into this game. And we know for a fact that they've had this in development for 5 fucking years. And this is what you've got to show for it?
Right.
Fuck. Yeah, so yeah, I don't think there's any problems with people going, hey, fuck off.
Yeah, like I say,
and we deserve your money, by the way, and we deserve your money. Get out. Get out of here.
You're not old jack shit, and there's a lot of bigger companies that are finally realizing people got options, man. And I think this is gonna. We're only at the beginning of this shit. I brought this up before. Like, it's people with something like what would you consider AA? I guess game. Claire City and
AA. Well,
AA
I mean,
game.
Yeah, AA, because they had a small studio, but they had help from another studio as well, which had a little bit more. I'd say absolutely AA. I wouldn't say AAA, but AA would be fine, fair, yeah.
Right. So I think you're gonna have, because people are starting to have options there, like that's just what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a bunch of AA, single A games that satisfy the itch. It scratches the itch. And so be it, right? Like these people,
and it also came in at good price point.
Yeah, it was $50,
Don't forget
right?
that as well.
Was it 50?
Yeah.
So, yeah, like people have options, and you can afford to do that when your team isn't fucking, because you can get a return on that far easier when you don't spend $300 million on a game, right?
Well, it also helps when you have a proper story to tell, when you have a vision, a true vision.
Yeah.
You can't say that Assassin's Creed has a vision because it's a rinse and fucking repeat game with the same fucking content just spread all over the map. There's no fucking vision there. It's as by the numbers as you can possibly get. Claire Obscure had a vision. It had a vision on how to take turn-based combat.
It was risky, and I respect it.
And it had an insane story that took huge risks in places.
It was risky, yeah. It's a risky game, and I respect it. Like, that's what people, I think, want. This is why I say, look, if we had an improved games industry or a game industry, you'd have more of that, right? And again, sometimes it's going to land, other times it's not, right? You play a game, maybe it's not the best, and that's fine, right? They took a risk. Nobody's going to hate them for it, right? The reason why people respond the way they do about the AAA games is because, well, you're asking for the price point, and not even just that. It's more like, we know how much you spent on this game, or roughly how much you spent on this game, and you got nerve to try to fucking shoehorn some old ideological bullshit. Yeah, people are gonna feel some kind of way. Normal people, if they were just producing games, and like, again, sometimes they took a risk and that risk didn't work creatively, then great, right? And then some are gonna not hit it big. I think that's what people want. They want to return to that, but you'd have to remove, and this is what I don't think they got it in them, at least they haven't shown us, just remove all the goofy shit.
Well, let's use Dragon Age as an example, because this is the example, because David Gay used to work for fucking BioWare and has been involved, right? Mm-hmm. You've gone from Dragon Age Origins, a dark fantasy that really plays up on those dark fantasy elements, yeah, to gay Californians LARPing. That's what you've gone to, right?
Not wrong.
So we're not talking about a sustained vision that people have grown tired of. This is bizarre because they love this dark fantasy. They love this. No. Why have they turned on it? No. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a great story, great universe with Dragon Age Origins. Again, some risky storytelling, Lagain, Duncan, this kind of stuff. Morrigan, some complexity there. To stupid gay Californians LARPing. Oh my God, Z's, do you love coffee, Z's? My pronouns, Z's, are this, Z's? Oh my God, why can't I accept my gender identity-ish? Oh my God, like, why is everything... Just like, these are not the same things. Just because you put Dragon Age on it does not make it the same thing. It was a pile of utter wank.
It wasn't good. It just wasn't good. It made it unbearable when we know all the ideological stuff that's associated with that, again, you led with, in addition to it just being a fucked game. The game in itself just wasn't good.
Oh, did you tell them to do this, Eric?
It was not me, believe it or not, it wasn't
I
me.
didn't tell them to do this.
Oh, wow, okay.
So it must have been you.
You did it, and all I am is just a responding agency. But Look, I will say this. I guess I expect games journalists to kind of go wherever the wind's blowing.
No, they don't. They go where the fucking developers are because they kiss. They don't fucking kick anymore. They kiss ass. They want access. They want the interviews with whatever it's called. They want interviews with him. They want them to say something anti-gamer. They want them to go to war with their customers because they think for them that will produce articles, that will produce content. They are as antithetical to gaming as you can get. And that's why people don't read this shit anymore. That's why people come to YouTube and other media sources to get people to hear the opinion of people they fucking trust. Whether that person agrees with you, not necessarily the need. At least they go, well, I think he gave us his honest opinion.
Right.
I tried it. I didn't personally like it, or I tried it and I liked it and he didn't like it. But at least they have the person that they're watching, in their eyes has that credibility. And journalism doesn't have that credibility no more.
Giving it to them straight. Yeah, and they don't have that shit. So but it is really fucked, I guess, when you do have some of these writers, I guess, because those guys are moving on to other companies to do the same shit. And if they haven't learned anything, then they're going to continue to produce.
Yeah, we don't. Oh, who cares?
That's what I'm saying. I don't have to buy your shit.
Yeah. I sleep well overnight.
I'm good.
Yeah. Do you know? I don't lay awake at night going, oh my God, I wish BioWare could just turn it around. I wish I could just suddenly like people mutilating themselves and fucking men going into women's changing rooms, and I wish I could just totally applaud men invading female sports and making a mockery of women because these are the true misogynists, not the guys that go, wow, that woman's fit. You're a misogynist. Wait, what? That woman there made a really bad story. You're a misogynist. No. I don't think you understand what the word misogyny means. You're a dumb fuck. So, yeah, I sleep perfectly well at night. I will sleep perfectly well if BioWare go out of business. I'm going to sleep perfectly well knowing that Cliffhanger have gone out of business. I slept perfectly well knowing that Ubisoft sold 25% of its failing company because it doesn't have the cash flow to make another fucking AAA game anymore, and it needed Tencent to bail them out of that. I'll sleep perfectly well with Activision floundering or Blizzard floundering. I don't care. What I care about is companies that are wanting to produce video games that are there for gamers, that are there for people to enjoy, that could have their own video game world politics, could have their own
that's a
intrigue
and that makes it more immersive when you do that, right?
But this pathetic shit, like, oh my God, clone number 6 is the first trans clone, and they're in the clone fucking trans flag. And it's just like, why don't you fuck off and Minecraft, which you've actually got a 41% chance of doing anyway.
Don't tell them to do that, ass.
Yeah,
they might take you up on it. So
it is pathetic. You have let the lunatics run the asylum.
Yeah.
And this is what you've got because of it. And you get what you fucking deserve. And this is a world of your creation. And you've lost your audiences because of it. Don't cry for me, David Gator, whatever you're fucking called. Nobody gives a shit. Now, we'll praise games until the cows come home if they're good, or we'll be indifferent to them like Doom.
Yeah, I think indifference
because we'll just call it how we'll see it.
And like, I would prefer that. Like me, again, I would love a games industry where it's just like, look, man, it is what it is. People feel some kind of way, but everybody's talking about gameplay, right? They're talking about gameplay. They're talking about the atmosphere. They're talking about all of that shit. And we're not talking about what Doom's like, that he has a trans skin or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? Doom guy does. We're not talking about that. I prefer it that way, right? Like, yes. Maybe the game doesn't sell well or whatever. People are indifferent on it. You got some people love it, some people are giving it a 10 out of 10, others are like, this I don't, it's not anything wowing me. Price point, we're talking. I would much rather be talking about that shit.
Yeah,
right. And that being like the general conversation.
I think the price tag had something probably to do
like
with
we could talk about that, right? It's economics. So okay, we're discussing that. But when these crack smokers lead with trans, with barbs, with that type of goofy shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about diversity and all these things that you made pledges to and all that. Well, that's like people are gonna be like, "Fuck off, dude! We didn't pay for this, and now we know why you game's asshole."
I don't care. I literally don't care. You did this to yourself. You shot yourself in the face, and now you're looking around going, "Who would do such a thing? Why would gamers do such a thing?"
Yeah, why would they? Well, again, they're trying to put this is shifting the blame. Is essentially it's like, well, it's the fans' fault.
It's not taking responsibility for what you've done.
That's where it all stems from. It's the accountability or lack thereof.
Yeah, you have inserted your fucking retarded, mentally ill politics into the gaming industry, and none of you have the fucking balls because you cut them off to fucking take accountability for your fucking actions because you're a bunch of cowards. And we've said this time and again, it's an industry of cowards run by a bunch of fucking cowards. None of them want to step up to the plate and gone, do you know what? Probably inserting far left ideology into something, making it divisive by its own fucking nature wasn't a wise move to do. No, you come out with gamers are racist, gamers are sexist, gamers are bigoted. Well, guess what? Gamers have had enough of your fucking shit. Bye.
Easy enough. See you.
Let's just briefly touch on this because I much prefer talking about video games because I don't get to do it anywhere else. Let's have a look. Harry, Ron, and Hermione have been cast. Black Snape is black. I can't wait for Hermione to be called a mudblood. This is getting. They
do that, man. They crossing some territory.
Oh, it's like you could. Do you know what? I feel sorry for these. I do feel sorry for these kids, by the way. Right? Because these kids,
they're just looking at it as just a gig.
They're fucking innocent kids. That however old they are, 10, 11, 12, whatever, however old they are, and they are literally being used as pawns for adults wanting to push again ideology in something which was said to be authentic, which is no longer going to be authentic. And I feel really sorry that they're going to get shit from all angles. They're going to get shit for the casting. They're going to get shit from people that hate J.K. Rowling. And it's like, please protect these fucking kids at all cost. I'm begging you. But they won't because they're going to be used as pawns. To me, the show was over the moment they fucking cast Snape.
Yeah, that was a head scratcher, man.
Because I'm not a Harry Potter guy. I liked the video game. I thought Hogwarts Academy. I thought it was great. I had a ton of fun playing it. It actually got me to take the Pottermore test. It actually got me to buy the books. It got me to buy a little bit of Harry Potter Lego. There was a knock-on effect because of it, okay? And the announcement of the TV show being authentic to the books was an interest to me because a lot of the people who were really into Harry Potter had said to me, but as the books really go into all of this
that's
stuff.
what a lot of Harry Potter fans say. Yeah,
and you're gonna, when you get the true, the full fleshing out, it's gonna be great. So I'm like, awesome. This is something that really does appeal to me. And then they went, do you want a bunch of white people bullying a black guy at school? Oh. Do you want a brown lass being called a mudblood? Because we're going to totally push it in the direction that people want it to, just like.
Yeah, they're not.
Poor kids. Poor
Yeah,
fucking
that's
kids.
all I can say on it, man. That's really all I can say on this. It's unfortunate for them. I know
Yeah,
they're in
I
the
hope they got
parents
good
looking at
people
like
around them. Yeah.
once in a lifetime kind of opportunity, and yeah, to your point, it's going to be from different angles because you're going to have those that the anti-JK folks as well that are going to be they're going to be voicing their opinions as well. So yeah, it's stupid. This is all around stupid. The Snape stuff, especially, just such a needless, nonsensical thing. But they did it.
Do you know what, Eric?
Yeah.
Not my fucking problem.
Yeah.
I got
wrong.
99 problems and this ain't one. But
Yeah.
it just means now that I'm going to have no real interest in the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I feel you.
They killed me off that. So well done.
Garfield's Bizarre Adventure said Black Snape will save Hollywood.
Oh. Stunning and brave.
It'll be stunning and brave, that's for sure.
Okay, let's smash some boobies. Not boobies. Let's smash some super chats. Philip Poole has become a member. Philip Poole, thank you for becoming a member, dude. Josh Kelsey slapping a 20 on the counter. Josh, appreciate you, my son. My son. Bruce has been a member for 24 months, 2 years. Keep the release onslaught coming.
Let's go.
Pick up your Saints and Sinners pinned in the comment at the top there. Also, if you're watching this later on, in the link down below, there's the link to Saints and Sinners. There's the link to Rippazine number 4 as well, which has got the interviews with the Saints and Sinners writers, Catch and Kill, new story from the Sosky sisters, and other things.
Yeah.
Martino gifting 5 memberships to the stream. Martino, thank you, my lovely, lovely sir. Oof, by the way, the cigars are mucho bueno. Captain Caveman. I love that cartoon. Fucking love Captain Caveman cartoon. With a $20 as I've given up on the old universes a long time ago. So glad that I got in on the Rippaverse on day 1. I have a cover or 2 of everything thus far.
Oh, shut up.
And love the direction it's going.
I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. Appreciate you, Captain K, man. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. And hopefully we can keep you around, man.
Well, you know what we've just been discussing, by the way, with the gaming industry and all that stuff and the TV industry. Somebody came along, created their own new thing, and look where it is. This is the best time in the modern era, I would say. If you've got a fucking idea, and if you've got something about you, maybe the resources, whatever, I would say go for it. Because right now, people are thirsty. People are thirsty for just good stuff that isn't polarizing, that isn't fucking playing into modern thanks, the most boring thing on the fucking planet. Fucking hell. Mr. Darkinson with the 25 policies asks, do you think that World of Warcraft will also end up on Microsoft's Game Pass, or will it remain its own subscription model in the near future? I don't see them changing the subscription model at all. I mean, they've just introduced the one-button rotation, haven't they? So, yeah, they don't give a flying fuck about that. They just want the money. If they put it on Game Pass, then it might take away from the store, the game store. So, no, I see the subscription model going. Oh, dude. Vara Dark here. This is awesome. Sweet Baby Inc. employee and current EA's Marvel's Black Panther narrative design. Now it's all making sense. Narrative designer seen proudly bragging the previous title Validate had no white people. Yeah, remember this last?
Forgot about that.
Right. Yeah, this last said that there are no white people on her team. They won't employ white people. Because if they employ white people, then they might actually have a different opinion, and they can't have that. They must be an echo chamber. White people are scary and threatening and nasty and poopy pants. So if I think it's a she, it's got a fucking pig ring in the nose. I mean, that says something. Marvel's Black. If that was the narrative designer for Marvel's Black Panther, everything, all the money wasted, all the time wasted, everything has been explained very clearly now. How do you not be able to make a Black Panther game? This woman. Perfect. Thank you. Perfect. Boink. All makes sense. Definitely not a gator with a $5 is the lady who didn't hire white people because they made an unsafe workspace. Yeah, wrote fuck white people on concept art for her game, worked with Cliffhanger. There you go. There you go. Not only is the game cancelled, the company has been shut down. Oh, well. Oh, well. Thank you. Definitely not. Kenzakai 420 with a membership for 3 months says self-inserts are gay, but we all want to see Ripper the Silverback in a background cameo appearance in the Rippaverse, maybe locked up in a super prison.
I think there's tasteful ways to maybe entertain.
Maybe they're a tag team in the back.
Yeah, something like that.
Just something, a little something. Maybe a little poster. Maybe a cartoon on a TV screen.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
something. We get it. That wouldn't be a self. In all fairness, though, that wouldn't be a self-insert per se. That would just be a nod for the fans.
Yeah, it'd be a direct nod. Yeah, exactly.
So it'd just be a nod as opposed to us directly wanting to insert ourselves in, which is the kind of what's going on in terms of self-insert. No, that would just be a little nod to the Rippaverse fans.
Right.
I might have sent an email to Alex, and I might just be waiting on.
Oh yeah, he told me yesterday. He's up at the warehouse now, so we need to talk about it. Yeah. Some stuff's on the horizon.
Stuff, hey.
Yeah.
Upton Coke with a membership for 21 says Cliffhanger Studios didn't even end on a cliffhanger. No, it was just flat cancelled. Wah, wah, wah. Fiesta Cat with a $5 says, if I were you, I would own it. Hell yeah, I killed Starfield. I am all powerful. Well, the thing, Fiesta Cat, I get the joke and everything. I get the hubris and all of that. But the simple fact is, you gotta retain your integrity, right?
Right.
And it's not me. It would never be me that would do. I don't have the power to do that. I don't have the influence to do that. The responsibility has to be laid at where the responsibility lies, and that responsibility was at the feet of Bethesda. They killed their own game.
Not wrong.
And if that is 20 years of development, I'm very nervous for the Elder Scrolls 6. DB with a £2 says, I am become as destroyer of video games. Maybe. Larry Parker with a $5 says, the lack of accountability is so childish and needless. To have clients, you need trust. Appreciate the transparency with Eric July, Andrew, the Rippaverse.
I think that's just the way of the future, man. People have been burned before, definitely with what they pay for. So I think one of the things that anybody can do if they are running their own company is just, try to get that connection with your customers, man, and it go a long way.
Look, shit happens. Shit happens, and it's not as if there's never been a comic with a misprint before.
There's a lot
or
of
anything
those.
like that. So yeah, it's just I think the way it was handled was fine. It's very, very, it's particularly generous for the people that got 60% discount codes.
That's true. Been seeing a lot of redemptions on those.
Woo. Best name I can think of has been a member for 37 months. Loving the image there, dude. It's kind of like me on a hot day. Scotty's been a member for 27 months. Thank you, Scotty. Appreciate you. The other side of the fence with a $2 says, how do I get unblocked from the Rippaverse? Are you blocked from the Rippaverse?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Yeah. Fiesta Cat with a $2 says, got saints and sinners. Figured I'd give it a shot.
Let's go.
Thank you, Fiesta Cat. Really hope that you love it. I can only speak for myself because, the other people have wrote the other stories, but I just wrote a story that I just want you guys to enjoy. That was my motivation, and I'm very excited for you guys and gals to read it. Really am. Joe Music 931 with a $5 says, Rip, that one dude got an unhealthy obsession with you guys. 99% of his day is spent screenshotting and bitch about you doing great things. Hey, look.
What are you going to do?
Not a problem,
What are you going to do?
99 problems, that ain't one.
That's for sure.
Yeah, there's always going to be peeps. But hey, look, like I said, seriously speaking, to get this opportunity to do what I'm doing with the Rippaverse was unbelievable. Bucket list stuff. My intention when I was given that chance was to try and make the best story that I possibly could for the fans of the Rippaverse, and hopefully maybe even bring some new fans in as well. Some people that haven't potentially picked up a Rippaverse book. This might be the first book because I did it, or maybe because they saw an advert somewhere or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But so intention wise, it's like there's no silly Billy, never will be silly Billy. It's about purely entertaining you guys, giving you the best that possibly can. And this being my writing debut, just wanted to give as big a shot as I could. So yeah, very excited for you guys and gals to read it. Very excited for you guys' feedback on it. And it's all going to come. That's all going to start happening very soon indeed. Exciting times. Very exciting times. DB with a £2 says, remember, hashtag As was right. Asman confirmed it. Even though Asman, never mind. Went to bat for his boy. God's Bad Karma with a $20 says, any chance of Saints and Sinners CGCs? The one has his signature. Always. Love you guys as always.
Man, that's logistically. For one, we want to get that. We want to get the book out, right? Doing CGC is going to put delays on it and stuff. We don't want to do that. We want you guys to read about maybe in the future with something else. If you guys love it as a story, we do something in the future. Maybe at that point, we can do some stuff. But yeah, with this, it's an anthology that we want you to read. So we don't want any delays. We want to get this thing printed and get it shipped out. So maybe in the future, but for this one, we want to get it out. We want you guys to read it. That's what it's about.
In the future, who knows who might be turning up in places,
You know what I'm saying?
So it might be a cool little thing. Bring your book along. Try and get those signatures on it.
Perhaps.
Try and get all six. Try and get Eric's. Try and get the Soskers.
Yeah.
Jay's. Don't worry about that one. Drinkers, Maulers, mine. Try and get them. Little quest.
Yeah. That's what they are.
The first
little treasure
quest
hunt
of the Rippaverse, yeah.
Yeah, it's the first little treasure hunt. Yeah,
and then send that away, get that CG seed, Bang. Yeah. Calioth with a $5 says, are they doing Doctor Who in theaters in Britain for the final episode? If yes, I want to see how many people showed up, see if it's more than Zegler. I think there's so little interest in Doctor Who. If they put it at the cinema, the likelihood is that Snow White would beat it.
Fuck.
True. Dave Poole has been a member for 27 months. Dave Poole, thank you very much. Stop the J hate. Never. Never. Never gonna happen. Joe Music 931 with a $5. We started with Isom 1. Look at the progress since then.
Yeah, man.
With no slowing down. Rippaverse!
It only picks up, man. That's all that happens. So that's a testament to all of y'all out there, the fans. Thank you for making my dreams come true. And I'm just we're gonna keep working, man. Keep working and keep building.
Other side of the fence with the $5 as how you fumble a Met comic and settle for a bicycle. If you talk about the apex, is because I wanted the apex. That's why I didn't want a mech. I wanted an apex. There's a very specific reason why the apex is there. Let's just say you haven't seen everything that it can do yet. But no, I think the apex was a great little idea. Give Ingrid some autonomy so she doesn't have to get in those police cabs anymore. And yeah, there's stuff afoot. Stay tuned, dude. You don't know what's happening, so just stay tuned for what's afoot because you never know. DB with the £2 says, "As will you be sending for the rest of us in the UK?" No, you got to you're fending for yourself now.
Fending for yourself.
It's every man for themselves. You know? Every man for themselves. I'm all right, Jack. I'm good. You know, I'm out of here for the time being. You know. I'm sort of hoping that when I get back, they won't let me back in. I'll be okay. That's all right.
No, thanks.
Cheers. Appreciate that. Eric, before we go, is there anything that you'd like to plug, good sir?
Nah, man. Go get Rippazine 4. Go get Saints and Sinners last week to get Horseman, and go get Yaira 3 as well. Appreciate everybody for the support over at the Rippaverse. We got Fan Expo, so if you're in Dallas this upcoming weekend, come out at us, man. I'll be there showing love. So, yeah, man, looking forward to it. And I appreciate all of y'all, man. Y'all are awesome. But, yeah, just get Saints and Sinners, though, for sure. I want you guys to really enjoy. I know you're going to enjoy it as a story to his point and what he's doing with Ingrid. It's awesome. He's adding some layers to the character that I think are really going to be crucial to her development. So go grab that. And yeah, we got plenty of time, 51 days still left. So go get that. And I appreciate everybody that's still showing love.
Yeah, I know there's gonna be a stream coming up soon.
Yeah, soon we got a stream. We'll get us all. We'll be talking everything Saints and Sinners with the whole crew. So we're working that crazy week this week, obviously, with all of what we've announced and Fan Expo,
Palace Expo, and blah blah blah.
So once we get back next week, we'll be looking into at some point doing a stream with all of us.
Yeah, yeah. Again, just to mirror what Eric said, please pick up a copy of Saints and Sinners and the Rippazine #4, a great companion piece for Saints and Sinners. If you want to see the process of how we got to where we are, those are both available, and the links are in the description box down below. So if you're watching this later on, you can just click on them and grab those. We are only just over 25,000 away from the second milestone being unlocked for Saints and Sinners, and that is going to release the concept art book for the project, which is going to have
not far away. I'm excited.
That's going to have some awesome stuff in that. So yeah, 6,413 books sold so far, 224,224. I'm not even joking. It's mirroring itself right now. 51 days left. Your support so far has been absolutely unbelievable. So please, if you can, pick up a copy and, support my writing debut, Mauler's writing debut.
Yep.
Jay's got a story. Drinker's got a story. Soska's got a story. Eric's got a story.
I do.
And the hardback dropping soon as well.
Soon, baby.
Ooh, did we somebody slip in another super duper? MyStreamGuide.com with a $5 says, I made Rip and the Silverback in my TTRPG Rip as a Black Indiana Jones and a King Kong Silverback summon.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I respect it.
The Silverback liveth. Cheers, dude. Appreciate you. So massive thank you to everyone who came today. Mods, thank you so much for giving up your free time. Everybody who super chatted, remembered, gifted memberships. Thank you for supporting the channel. I'm going to be back a little bit later on with some more Skyrim survival mode. Yes, sir. And next week, ripping a Silverback over on Eric's channel. So until then, you take care. Goodbye, Blooble.